2, 1. What's going on, guys? I am doing a One Piece chapter 1044 review and thoughts with Crosby. He does not have a YouTube channel. He might eventually, who knows? But he is a One Piece fan, as I am. You want to say what's up?
How's it going? Love One Piece.
All right. So I will just start on, I guess, page 1 of the official release where we see Zunisha walking towards the land of Wano. It looks like he's getting near the waterfall area, like just outside the pillars where they all come in.
Shoot, yeah, getting pretty close.
And you see that he is still talking to Momonosuke, and Momonosuke is relaying the messages to uh fuck. He is relaying the messages to Yamato. And so what do you think is what's Zunisha's role here? Like why does Zunisha need to be shown?
Shoot, man. I think she's gonna come and she's gonna bring a lot of information about Joy Boy. I think what you're saying in your last video is spot on. She's gonna be the one that tells Luffy what's going on with his fruit. And who knows, she might be able to provide some sort of backup to Wano if they need it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too, is like the so or in earlier chapters we saw Zunisha taking out the marine ships and
Yeah, and she took out what's his name? King? No, no, no. What's his name?
on the ship.
With the horns. He's one of the
Oh, Jack, yeah.
Jack, yeah. Took out
Yeah.
Jack.
And so like I'm still curious about Zunisha in the sense of the connection that'll happen with Luffy later on in terms of like the curse that was put on Zunisha and all that, and how in the chapter before when Zunisha was talking about how Joy Boy, like it's been 800 years and all that. So what was the connection before with Joy Boy to Zunisha, and now what'll happen with Momonosuke and Zunisha and Luffy, for example, and the whole like is that going to be a like a I don't want to say a bond, but like a very important character to help the Straw Hats down the road, or is it more of an information thing? Because I mean, Zunisha's huge, so like, why not have a giant elephant if you can have one to help
Definitely.
you out?
I think you're I think it's gonna be a little bit of both. Like she's gonna provide a lot of information, but she also will be of a lot of help because I feel like if Luffy realizes he is kind of Joy Boy, um, and he knows that Zunisha is in some kind of like imprisonment, he'll want to free her, or maybe that's why Zunisha is excited about Joy Boy, because one, they were crewmates back in the day, and also she knows Joy Boy frees people. So maybe she's hoping if she sticks with Luffy or something, since she's Joy Boy, she'll end up getting freed from whatever imprisonment she's in right now. That's what I'm thinking.
That's a very good point, because also with in the chapter before this when they were talking about the sounds of liberation and the drums of liberation, when Joy Boy, when Luffy's heartbeat started to kick up, and it's like almost like Zunisha is fulfilling the promise of Joy Boy by staying around. And that could have been the curse even too, because it was stated that it was a Kazuki who cursed Zunisha, right? It wasn't Joy Boy who did it.
I can't remember.
So I mean, if it is a Kazuki, then Momonosuke could also come into play there. But I feel like if I'm remembering this right, Luffy couldn't speak to Zunisha as well as Momonosuke. Like Momonosuke had a very deep understanding with Zunisha more than Luffy, which
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
which is a little weird because they both have the voice of all things. But Zunisha and Momonosuke could talk a little bit better than Luffy could. But I don't know how Momonosuke could like talk with those giant sea kings like Luffy did at Fishman Island, and for example, and so that might get into there could be a different voice of all things, or there could be a greater skill of it. Because I remember Roger could talk to the Sea Kings as well as Zunisha, and he could feel the road poneglyphs language without even knowing it, and things like that. So that might also just have to do with different types of Haki and so forth.
Yeah, they're kind of really leaving that open for interpretation. It's really, yeah, I definitely think Momonosuke has a stronger connection than Luffy, but maybe, I don't know, maybe with what's going on with Luffy and his fruit, he might have more of an awakened connection, might realize more so what's going on, be able to talk to Zunisha just as well as Momonosuke. Maybe he does have that connection with her because you might be right. Maybe the Kozuki did curse her, so that might be why his connection with her seems a little stronger.
Yeah, just a little deeper. And then speaking of Haki, if you go to the next page of the chapter, it is, or yeah, next page is Sanji is he sat up super quick and he's like all concerned about Luffy, and then you have King, or not King, you have Kid, Law, and Marco as well, and they're all noticing Luffy's presence, but they can't see Luffy. So I'm thinking that this might have to do something with either observation Haki, or you can just feel the presence of Nika or Joy Boy coming back from
Gotta be.
Luffy's real fruit.
Because Nami's right there crying with what's her name, and they don't feel anything at all.
Exactly, and it's definitely has to be Haki based. I feel like that's a great point. I actually didn't even notice that. And so you see the characters with what I'm assuming is less Haki, which has probably been shown, and they don't notice it at all. But you have Kid and Law and all them who are very found with Haki, and
Yeah, and
they
the
notice
older
the
guy
presence
that from
immediately.
Wano, he noticed
Yep.
it too. And
And
we know
so
he has a good Ryu or Rio, however you pronounce it, hockey, so
yeah, Rirwo, I think. I don't know. It's a little weird.
something like that.
And then the next panel, it cuts over to the Gorosei, and that was interesting because that's when
Hmm.
we get the bomb dropped about the Gum Gum fruit, and it's actually a mythical type model human, Nika, which is known as the Sun God.
Yeah, I
And
thought that was
so
pretty neat.
with
A lot
the
of dots starting to be connected.
with the drop of the Sun God coming in, what are your thoughts on there being other God type fruits?
So now that you mention it, I saw a theory about how back in Skypiea, Robin was talking to somebody about how she learned there was a god of the sun with Nika, and then a god of the rain, god of the forest, I want to say, and god of the sea, maybe it is. Um, I think that could be Oda with his foreshadowing. We're seeing God of Sun right now with Luffy, so there might be a God of the Forest. Maybe Green Bull could be the God of the
I was
Forest.
just about to ask if you'd be against the idea of one of the admirals, such as Green Bull, to have that one.
Yeah, I've there's been a lot of like speculation about that because I heard he or we know he hasn't like eaten for a certain amount of time,
Yeah, and he
so maybe
takes in
there
like
could be something to do
sunlight
with
to get
that.
energy.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
photosynthesis,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So it could be definitely something like that. So I really like that idea that there could be other gods, and it could make the story play out really nice. Like maybe Blackbeard's dark fruit isn't really a Logia, and maybe it's like a mythical zone with darkness or a dark god or something like that. Because we
Uh,
know he can like take powers, so
yeah,
I'm excited
that's
to see where they go with
still
this.
very interesting. And I mean, there is proven to already be god fruits in the story. Like if you're not counting Nika right now, which like before Nika, you do have you do have the Buddha, which is
Oh yeah,
you could it's a model human mythical zone, which would be a technical god fruit. So I feel like that is gonna actually probably become really relevant if you
I
already
do
have
too.
two in the story and then so forth.
I also like the idea of two out of the three of the human fruits we know so far now aren't just regular human fruits. So who knows? Maybe Chopper's human fruit is more than just actual human.
Chopper is actually the god of One Piece. Chopper has the Oda Oda fruit. And then so we cut to what people would say is the boring part of the chapter, where it is uh, Hiyori talking to Lord Orochi, and I I still don't get how Orochi will die. I mean, I don't get the whole with his powers. I've heard the whole cut off his head 9 times, or don't cut off his head, just stab him in the heart. So I'm kind of curious about that and how you
Yeah, I
actually
really
do
don't
kill
know.
him. But that's a point that people didn't like in the chapter because they obviously want to see Luffy and everything with that. But I am a
Oh
Hiyori
yeah.
fan. I like how she showed up. I know people were speculating it to be Momonosuke and Hiyori's mom, Toki, and she traveled into the future with her time fruit. And I'm kind of glad Oda didn't play on that at all and just left it as she died right there. She could possibly show up somehow in the future because that fruit's kind of insane, but
Oh
I
yeah, it's so broken.
it's so broken. But I like that he
S-
left it
Yeah.
as Hiyori and did not make it Toki because I know a lot of people speculated that it was Toki.
Yeah, I don't think I would have liked that. I like how it's her grown up, Hiyori grown up. She went through all that she did, and now she's kind of having her moment with Orochi, kind of like reclaiming Wano and like what's hers, and like showing that everything her father did wasn't for nothing and all that. Like such tragedy, man. So
Yeah,
sad.
I would love to see Odin still in the story. That was the that was a top tier flashback for sure that Oda did
Yeah.
for a character
Oh
that
yeah.
isn't even in the story anymore, and they made him that badass.
Oh yeah. And you know so much about him. It's like he had his own whole story. Like you know so much about Odin. It's not like he's some random side character. There's so much depth
Yeah,
to his character.
and he's
That's
not
how he is
once
with
been
every
shown
character.
in the timeline that is going on now. It's insane.
And like everything that's going on is like about him, for him, pretty much, and Wano. It's like
Yeah, and
the
him
impact
wanting
he
to
left
open
is
up the
crazy.
borders and the whole reason that the Minks wanted Luffy to go to Wano, and it actually that is also what I'm curious about is Zunisha is currently at Wano, and Zunisha has all the Minks who didn't go to Wano on its back.
True, I totally forgot about that. She
Yeah,
literally has like
so
a whole country on her back.
yeah, so like I don't know the whole thing that's gonna happen there, but
And like they didn't even need to take the poneglyph at this point if she just goes to Wano with them. Like
exactly. So one thing that I am curious though uh, about Lord Orochi and Hiyori is when Kanjuro shows up in the small fire form, and Orochi is like, "Is that you, Kanjuro?" So does that mean when Kanjuro died with his fruit, he turned into that fire and didn't create it? Like that was just him. He was the fire.
it's gotta be. It's gotta be like his will and power, his drive for like wanting to follow Orochi's orders. It's like I feel like it kind of like has something to do with that. Like he was driven mad because he wanted to follow Orochi's orders no matter what. And then we saw what happened at like the end of this little scene. But um, yeah, I feel like that is Chondro's like the last of him or his will or whatever in that little devil fruit power that he has right
So would
there
that
going on.
almost be an awakening? Would you
Honestly,
say that his fruit was
probably.
awakened?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because he fooled me for so long thinking he has these terrible drawings with a decent fruit and he pulls out this amazing artwork and drawing later on. I definitely think he could have awakened that fruit.
That was another crazy turn. That was. I'm still one. So what scabbards are left? So we have. Oh shoot! I can't even get a head count on them. Like, is Oda planning to kill them all off just to do it for the sake of like this is their final hurrah? Because
Dude,
I'm
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 not
trying to
sure.
think of who's left and I can't. Like I can't even
I'm
put a finger on
pretty
it.
sure I saw Kinemon like dragging what's his name? What's left of him? Uh
Yeah.
the brother, one of the brothers, you know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Who Okiku or wait no,
No, Kiku got I don't know if Okiku's dead, but Okiku got arm cut off and then
Yeah, who
the
knows if he's
explosion,
dead?
and then the explosion from Kanjuro.
We didn't oh no, Yamato only froze the bombs on like
Yeah,
a certain side. Shoot, that's a good question. I have no idea.
yeah. Like I can't like, and then
Because Kaido just left them and went to fight with Luffy too.
yeah, I hope Oda explores more into that, and I'm sure he will after this. And when we're done scrolling through the chapter, or we can talk about it now. How is Onigashima gonna land? Like, what is that? What's gonna happen there?
I don't know, but ooh, what if Zunisha comes and somehow Momonosuke brings Zunisha over, or Onigashima over to Zunisha and gives it like a nice little landing on on there, maybe?
Well, then
Maybe.
Zoe is just destroyed,
True, true, true.
and that probably like I Onigashima is pretty big,
Yeah, yeah, that's very
but
true.
it's
Because
not
we
it's
saw
not
how
as
big.
big as Zoe though. Like you can see Momonosuke when he's pulling. Like if they do a big panel of Onigashima, you can see Momonosuke just barely like pulling the island and stuff. But I'm I'm also curious about that. Are they going to turn Momonosuke back into his age originally, or are they going to leave him as the young adult he is now?
Oh yeah, he's gonna be left as the young adult. You can have some maturing to do, even though honestly he's really mature for his age. Um, but I think I really liked him making him grow up because like if he wants to be the Shogun, he can't be some little kid. Like I like how
Yeah.
he's grown up. I
Odin
really liked it.
or Oda also hasn't even shown his face yet because they showed the back of him when he matured, and then he immediately went into his dragon form.
I bet he looks exactly like Odin, bro.
He has to. He has to, and he's just waiting to show
Spitting
it.
image.
So
And
Momonosuke
and when he
cannot die.
shows up, oh no, bro, this is gonna be the exact moment. After the war or after this whole battle, they win and everything. What's left of the samurai, they're gonna be all laying there, and Momonosuke is gonna like transform back into his human, and they're gonna like see his silhouette and think it's Odin, and it's gonna be this huge thing, but it's really gonna be Momonosuke. I can see it happening now. I can already see it.
Yeah, that's perfect. He walks into the flower capital, and they're like, think it's Odin, and it's just Momonosuke. Oh
Yup.
yeah, that'll be nice. And I don't think the Scabbards have seen him either.
Oh yeah, they're that them too. They're gonna like start bawling, thinking like,
Oh
"What is?
yeah,
Am I dead? Am I dead? Is Odin
Kinemon would
in the
go
afterlife?"
nuts. He'd go nuts.
Hmm.
So then after we skip past the not so fun parts, we get to the part where it is now Luffy in front of, I believe that's the moon. I don't think it's sunny out right now because it's
Oh
been
yeah,
night the
definitely
whole
the
time.
moon.
Yeah. And he looks exactly like the silhouette of Nika. And he says, "This is the pinnacle of what I can do. This is Gear 5." So, as I talked in my
Yeah.
video on Friday, I I think that Luffy is taking this to a point where he just thinks he powered up a little bit and he doesn't realize what's really going on, and that's a big part of Luffy's character is not thinking all the time, but he's also super, battle strategic whatever, but him calling this Gear 5 is super interesting in that point. If you have any things you want to say about that.
Yo, I think the the official text is kind of a lot different than the unofficial. Because Luffy is like talking about this is the pinnacle of what I can do, not necessarily the peak, which is what's said in the unofficial, which I
Mhm.
really liked. I like how it's the pinnacle and not the peak now.
Yeah,
And then
cuz now there isn't a
also,
limit on it.
I don't know if I remember Kaido being like, "What is it, men? What is up on the roof?" Did he say that in the unofficial?
No, I don't think he did. I think in the unofficial he actually said straw hat. Like he was just like straw hat, and then it was just dot dot dot.
Yeah, I like this now. It's like Kaido's like starstruck. He's like, "What is it, man?"
Yeah, so it goes back to the hockey and feeling the presence, and
Oh wow,
but
I
him
like
with
this a lot better.
him calling it Gear 5 and not fully knowing what is going on and how he does have a different fruit per se, and who knows what abilities now. I mean, we'll get into the
Yeah.
way he fights soon, but
Oh yeah.
so with him calling it Gear 5th, it turns to a point where is he going to be able to turn this off and on like he does with Gear 4th? Is he going to understand his limits as well? Like how much training is he going to have to do to fully get a grip with his Nika form, or is it just going to be
Yeah, I like
able
that you
to
said that.
always happen?
I really like that you said that because it reminds me of back in Dressrosa when um why is his name isn't what's his name?
Doflamingo?
Uh yeah, when Doflamingo is talking about how awakened fruits, you can awaken them, and when you do awaken them in that moment, like you have necessarily, I think he said like in that moment you have, it may seem like you have good control, but then afterwards, like when you're like not in the heat of the battle, it takes a lot of time to master and a lot of training to get down your awakening. So hopefully like maybe a training arc, or we just gives more Luffy more room to grow since he is with having awakening fruit now. Like we don't want that to be like the peak of his power. Like we want to see him still get a little bit better or master it, stuff like that. But
He
it's gonna be
can't
nice
go
to
back
see.
to Rayleigh. Rayleigh does not have a devil fruit, so I feel like Rayleigh would not have a lot of like
Is
pointers for
yeah,
this. But I've seen a
I feel
lot of
like
people
Zunisha, bro.
for a long time have been talking about Katakuri and wanting Luffy to go back and train with Katakuri to like hone an awakening because their fruits
Mm,
are so similar as well.
yeah.
But I don't think
I think now though it's a lot different,
yeah, it
just with the
is.
sun god aspect.
Yeah, it's not turning your surroundings into rubber or anything, which actually I I think there's a point where he can do that cuz as you saw later on in the fight when Kaido launched the Boro Breath and he lifted up the floor to deflect it, and the floor almost looked like a just like a rubber wall when he picked it up.
Yeah, I saw that. I really liked that moment. It was pretty neat.
And so you see Kaido, like, and I saw someone talking about how when Kaido came down from the roof after he quote unquote defeated Luffy, he came down in his dragon form and not in his hybrid or human form. And uh, people were speculating that he did that to do like an intimidation factor because he is very close to like being knocked out or losing. Because I think that the last punch, if Luffy would have landed that before the Cypher Pole agent got there, that could have been the finishing blow on Kaido. It seemed like it was kind of like the last attack for both of them.
Yeah.
And so Kaido knows he's on his last legs, so he goes down in his scariest form and his most destructive form to, kind of make everybody lose their.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, shoot, if I saw who knows how long dragon screaming at me that it's time to give up, I probably would give up.
Yeah, and I just killed your captain and whatever. And so we get to Kaido, and then all of a sudden, oh, this also wasn't in the unofficial. So some of the pleasurers and waiters are passing out, and they say, "Is that the Supreme King Haki?" And so it shows that Luffy is up there and just letting off just huge conquerors Haki and just knocking out all the pleasures and waiters down
Oh
below.
yeah. And Law and Kid are like in awe. They're like, Strahd? That's your
Yeah,
hockey?
it's insane. And so then you see a giant fist and arm come down. I mean, this has to be giant. He grabs Kaido's like stomach in dragon form.
Yeah.
Like that's bigger
I
than
guess.
like a gear second or gear third.
Oh yeah, it's huge. My guess is he can just willingly with his power, just instead of having to blow up his arms, he can just make them big. That's my guess.
Like he can just expand it.
Expand them. Yeah.
And you do see smoke coming off of his arms as well. And so I'm curious about all the smoke stuff because I know in Gear Fourth he has the smoke coming out and he can like propel himself and there's smoke with that. And now even in the Nika form there's smoke. Does that have to do with the sun part? Like is in Gear Second he heats up his rubber? Like there seems to be a lot of things to have to do with heat along with his rubber as well. And he can do the Red Hawk. Like it's so connecting now of it being the sun god and seeing how much like not necessarily fire based techniques he does, but like the amount of heat and steam that he gives off. Like I don't know if that was on purpose by Oda, but I'm assuming it was.
Oh yeah, bro. I definitely think it was on purpose. Like I really do. I'm seeing a lot of hate on a lot of on social media platforms saying Oda's pulling this out of nowhere, yada yada, bro. I feel like I can definitely see the connections and it all makes sense. I feel like it all makes sense to me.
I mean, it has
It
to.
really does.
Oda, like you're not gonna go back to chapter one and have them talk about how they stole the Gumu Gumu no Mi and then Luffy ate it in chapter one, and now we're here on chapter 1,000 plus, and who's talking about how he was on the ship that Shanks stole it from, and then like, I, this chapter was the best One Piece chapter, like in terms of reveals I've ever read. But the second best chapter in terms of reveals is when Who's was talking about the Gumu Gumu no Mi. That chapter was insane.
I was still anime for that, unfortunately.
Ooh, that was a very hard 2 week break for me. So we see Kaido get grabbed, and you see Law, Kid, and Chopper, and they're all just like, "Is that Luffy? Is that Straw Hat?" And then all of a sudden, and this is something that we talked about before this, is it's almost like Luffy fights as a Looney Tune now. And you see when he grabs Kaido, Kaido's eyes does the like, it's almost like Tom and Jerry-ish. Like his eyes are in three different spots as he's getting lifted up by Luffy. And it's so interesting seeing how he's fighting now.
And he like flexes his arm and it blows up big like Popeye.
Like it's really to a sense it's goofy. Like it's just super
Yeah.
goofy, and but it fits with Luffy so well.
Oh yeah.
And so you see
And look at
Luffy
him Hulk
smiling,
smashing him.
and then you see him twirling him around, and just like I don't even understand what is going on at all. And I don't think Kaido understands it all either, because this whole time he's just yelling. And so then after he smashes him on the ground,
Luffy's
you
just
see,
laughing.
yeah, you see him laughing, and Kaido says, "Straw Hat, you survived," and launches a fuck, a blast breath, a burrow breath, or whatever he calls it. And so this is where Luffy, again, it makes it all cartoony, and Luffy's eyes bug out of his head. And then you see him lift up the ground to deflect it, almost like how in Paramecia Awakening works. Like Doflamingo can turn anything into string. Katakuri made everything into mochi. And so I do think that this is actually an awakening of his fruit.
What I noticed is look at when he's grabbing the ground, he's like literally like stretching it too. It's like not like his hands aren't like penetrating the ground or
Yeah, it's
breaking
not
through the ground to pull
crumbling
it
at
up.
all. It looks
It's
like a
like
carpet.
stretching.
Like it's
Yeah.
That's interesting. And so you see there is like sense of him almost looking gear fourth in this with the smoke ring around him and his arms getting all big, but I think that's just Oda going with the cartoony again.
Yeah,
And
notice
if
how
you
there's no like
see,
black for the hockey.
yeah, there isn't actually, yeah. And then you see that the blast does get reflected back off of the ground that he lifts up. So it is for sure rubber. The more I'm looking at this now, it's definitely. So what I'm curious about is how what's the point of Nika having rubber properties?
Yeah, I think that's the big question. I think that's the big stumper right there.
Like Nika is the sun god and all this and that, but the property of rubber just seems very random to me to a sense to have for somebody you call the sun god.
Yeah, this is my take and what I've kind of heard about it. So like with rubber, it can stretch, and Nika is supposed to be all about like freedom, like stretching your imagination. Um, that's kind of like the connection I made, I guess, in my head. Just like with rubber, it can stretch however you want it to. And like with the power, Sun God, you can use your imagination with this power however you'd like. And, you're using it for freedom, like endless possibilities. Once you're free, you can do anything you want. kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm taking from
So
it, at least.
so to a sense, it's not as much as, hey, it's rubber powers. It's kind of like a JoJo stand where it's like, oh, I can heal people, but I can also like reverse heal people and do this and that, and it's like I did see somebody talking about as well how their like rubber bounces everything back, and what does Luffy always do? He always bounces back. So it's like
True.
it's more of the sense of
Like the
rubber than
message.
yeah. I do like that
But
point with the freedom and being able to do as you please with, everything that he can do.
yeah, hopefully Oda like connects the dots with like why Rubber and Sun God eventually. But I feel like that's kind of a good assumption, maybe.
And so for the final panel of the chapter, and I'm still curious, Kaido has not said a word about Luffy's new form, about his abilities, about the presence that he feels that everybody is feeling with their observation hockey and how Luffy is. So I'm really curious about that and what's going to happen with that, because Kaido was almost like the gatekeeper of Joy Boy, where he's like, well, if I can't be Joy Boy, nobody can. And now he is literally face to face with Joy Boy and he hasn't said a word. He hasn't, like, you think that he would notice something sooner or feel it, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if Kaido even thinks Luffy has the possibility of being Joy Boy in the first place. So maybe it's like not even crossing his mind. I don't know.
Hmm.
Who knows? Because Luffy did say Gear Fist, so maybe Kaido's just like, oh, he has another power
Yeah,
he's
he
hiding or
is.
something.
He just didn't die, I guess. But you see Luffy laughing, and that was another thing that I was noticing is the smile, and how when Luffy was, before he started smiling and became into Nika or Joy Boy or whatever title you want to give him, he was not smiling whatsoever. It was the biggest frown on his face when he got hit by the Kanabo a chapter or two ago. But now it is like the biggest smile I've ever seen Luffy have. And he looks like he's just having so much fun. But the
Oh
very
yeah.
last panel with his eyes
Ooh, I was just about to say that.
and his eyebrows, I just noticed his eyebrows are curling kind of like Sanji's.
Yeah,
And
kind
his
of.
hair.
They're
So do you think
thick.
his hair is fire?
That's what I was wondering. I've seen people think it's fire
Or it's just his,
because it's
because it
like the
is
sun
white, so it
god.
wouldn't be his hair, because I know they usually draw his hair as black, obviously. So
Yeah,
I
it's
think it could be
I don't know.
smoke
I
or
want to say
fire.
yeah, smoke or fire.
But his
Maybe some kind of liquid rubber. Who knows?
his eyes at the end of that chapter,
Oh yeah,
that gets me
that's what I noticed.
so hyped for next week.
But you know what? If you look at the page before, when like Luffy's eyes come out of his head, they aren't like that.
Not at all.
And what is? Do you see on the page before when his eyes come out of his head? It looks like there's like a crown around his eyes.
Yeah, I was seeing that. I don't know if that's like just for like expression, or I don't know what that is. All right, so we got to the end of the chapter, so now let's dive into the questions or unanswered things that we want answered. And I will start with, what is Zoro doing and what is Brook doing?
Rook.
Because I remember how
That's a good question.
Brook showed up, but Zoro was like talking to death, like literally death itself. And since that, we have not seen Zoro whatsoever. And so I'm
We
just,
haven't. Actually, wait, did we see something with Frankie kind of trying to get Zoro
was it
when he
Frankie
was
and not Brook? Did I have that wrong?
I don't know. You might be right, but
It was one of the
that
two.
that was like saving him when he was like falling.
Yeah, but he's still like out of it,
Oh yeah,
like,
out of it.
and Sanji just woke up, so we know Sanji's fine. And it showed. Did it show Usopp at all in this chapter? I don't think it did.
Maybe just hiding or something once.
Yeah, well, he got pretty messed up in his fight with Ulti when he got
Yeah.
headbutted. Oh my God.
Oh, I forgot about that. My boy got his head hurt. He has a headache right now, a migraine.
For sure. But there's still so much to go off of with Zoro and Wano, and I don't think if Oda's gonna kill any Straw Hat off, it would be Zoro. Like that
Oh no.
would not happen. So I'm very
That'd be the
curious
most
on what's going
disappointing
on
thing
there.
ever.
Yeah, that would be a show ruiner.
For sure. I feel like after this battle, I feel like Zoro's gonna be passed out the rest of the battle, and I feel like it's gonna like transition into maybe his origin or something. Like maybe someone pulls up and they're like, I don't know. I feel like after the battles when we get to more Zoro, because everyone knows Zoro's connected to Wano somehow. So
And yeah, like at like this point, it's fair to say that um, with Wano and Onigashima and Kaido, like this is going to be resolved, and Onigashima is either going to land somewhere or it's going to crash somewhere. Kaido will be beat because we have so much more to explore with Momonosuke now and Zoro and Luffy and Zunisha. Like it'd be a complete lie to say that you don't think like this battle is pretty much over at this point. It's just they just have to get through the battle.
yeah, get through it. Deal with people that are pulling up on Wano.
Yeah, because you still have Rob Lucci on mainland,
Yeah,
and then you
and
still have
then
Bowler Hat Guy,
so much.
and so then
What
uh,
is this? What act is this? I forget. Three?
this is still Act 3. We're not even in Act 4 yet.
Oh yeah, we still isn't there gonna be five total?
It's 4 or 5, but I'm pretty sure Act 3 will end once the fight between Kaido and Luffy is over. I think that's when
Yeah,
it'll end.
that'd be my guess for sure.
And then Act 4 will probably be landing Onigashima or something, because I'm pretty sure in the Kabuki plays, Act 4 is usually pretty short. Act 3 has a lot of the action. And then Act 5 is like the resolve. And so that'll probably be like when we get a lot of information thrown at us because everything's calmed down by then.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to this post battle biggest celebration yet. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Yes, I love I love the battles in One Piece, but the lore and information that we get is so good because it is spread throughout so many chapters, and Oda does it so well, bringing stuff back up from, like chapter 10, and now it's chapter 900, and there's something that he brought up from there, and so I feel like there's so many gaps that we can get filled in after this battle that we have been waiting forever for, and
Oh yes,
like even 100 chapters waiting for this information is a long time.
very, very long time. And it's just gonna make the hype around the information even better though.
And so what I'm wondering is what is after Wano? Like, I think it was. I don't know if it's official or anything, but film Red being announced that it's going to take place at Elbaf, and I know a lot of people wanted the next arc to be at Elbaf, and so I'm wondering what is after Wano.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've heard 50-50 on it'll be canon versus it'll not be canon. I know all the ones previously aren't canon, but I think the speculation of it being Elbaf and them going to Elbaf after Wano is what makes people think it'll be canon. But I heard Shanks is supposed to be like the enemy in this movie, so I don't know how that would work for canon because I just don't think he's an enemy.
No,
I really
not
don't.
at all. That just is people head canon for sure. Shanks being an enemy is so bad. Like I would hate that so
Yeah, same.
much.
It would ruin the story for me, honestly.
Yeah, especially with how hyped up Shanks has been, and we've seen hardly
Oh yeah.
anything with him, and he's like people's favorite character, and we don't even know anything
He
about
hasn't even
him.
had that much screen time.
Yeah, and he's had more screen time of when he was a kid on Roger's crew than when he's now.
Literally. Literally. And he seemed like a great little kid when he was on Roger's crew, so
Yeah, and
I would
he's
hate that.
like I have speculations that uh he is gatekeeping the One Piece, Like he's not necessarily like I think it's been stated that like Shanks doesn't want the One Piece because he's already been on that adventure and stuff. So I think that he is gatekeeping it per se. I like there's no way he's evil. And he went to the Gurosei and told him to take care, like to watch out for Teach and all that. And like there's just no that just is probably not a possibility of him being evil, I'd think.
Yeah, I really, really don't think it is. Anybody that says that have been watching too much Bleach.
Yeah, too much Bleach. Just turn every character evil somehow. So then
Yeah, Shanks is gonna be a great guy. I just know it. When he gets screen time, it'll be great. Everyone will love it.
I want him to show
He
up at
also,
Wano, just randomly. Just at the end of Wano. Just show up.
that'd be sick.
And then it could
And
lead
like
into the
Luffy would
movie.
be ready to give him the straw hat. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, speaking of the Straw Hat, did you see the Straw Hat at all on Luffy in the chapter? I'm trying to look back here.
I did not, but I saw someone comment that on like a TikTok or a thread one time, and they're saying it was on his back. But let me check.
That is what I'm seeing. I think it is strapped to his back. Actually, I don't.
So you really can't. You really don't get an angle.
No, you don't.
So you just gotta assume, really. Who knows, bro? Because Luffy, we know Luffy. If his straw hat's missing, he starts freaking out.
Yeah, it's just got to be on his back. It's interesting. That'd be interesting if he didn't have it. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And so,
Shame.
what is next, like, for this chapter, besides the fight? Like, so once Onigashima lands and all that, and I want to know, like, world government-wise, like, what is the situation going to happen with that?
Dude, I think they're gonna know Luffy awakened that fruit, and for one, I think Luffy's bounty is gonna be ridiculous.
Hey, I don't even know what Luffy's bounty is going to be. It has to
Like
be
I
the
thought it was
highest
gonna
in
be
the
high in
story after
general.
this.
It has to be. It just has to be.
Like
Like,
5 billion plus for sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Like it was already gonna be super high before we knew about how powerful and dangerous this fruit was. Now that they know Luffy has a fruit and he's about to beat Kaido,
He has the fruit, took out 2 Yonkos, opened up Wano's borders.
dangerous.
Like that's insane.
Akainu better watch out. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's gonna be the fight. But then you get Eam Sama. Like, what is like? I've put out a video before about Eam Sama's past and my speculations on it, and how he's connected to Joy Boy, and it's like, so what is that connection gonna be like? That's gonna be a very interesting plot that Oda explores.
yeah, I've heard theories so much with this guy. I heard it could even be a girl. I've heard they could have the mythical zone like Luffy, maybe. Who knows?
Could have had the
Who knows?
surgery done on the op fruit, so they're just
True.
undying or
Because
invincible.
think about it. I feel like the only way to know about that surgery, the immortality surgery, is to have done it before, you know?
Exactly. So there has to be somebody, which people have speculated that it's also like Dr. Kureha, because she's like 130 and she looks like
That'd be
she's
kind of lit.
80.
Yeah.
Some people say it was Vegapunk, like done on Vegapunk. But I don't know. It could have been done more
You
than
think
once too.
Vegapunk's
But
good or bad?
I think he's good, and I think he is trapped by the world government.
Okay, yeah, I think he's good, but he's being made to do bad things
Yeah,
with
because
his
he's worked with Judge,
parts.
he's worked with Caesar, he's worked with who did Judge work with? Queen.
Yeah,
And
Queen.
I know that they're not all good, like especially Judge and Queen, but
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of it was Vegapunk's technology that they turned bad, and I think the world government was like, all right, you're gonna come work for us, do these things for us, and now you have to, for example, because I like when Frankie went to his lab during the 2-year time skip, like it was a good island and he just happened to blow it up or whatever and make it ice. Like I don't think he did that on purpose or anything. I think he's for sure good, For sure good.
Yeah. Do you feel like we've already seen him, but we just not revealed or
I
no?
don't even know. I feel like that's going to be another crazy reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Man, I don't even know. I'm going to say no. I think it'll be a whole new character. But if it's not, I won't be mad as long as they choose the right character to do it with.
Exactly, I agree.
And like, what's the dude's name on the rebellion, uh, or what are they called? The Revolutionary Army. Um,
Sabo?
no, the cat guy with the steampunk stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Shoot.
I forget his name, but like, I'm pretty sure he's even worked with Vegapunk before. So there's a lot of people that
Yeah, bro, like Oda still has so much to touch on.
so
Like we
much
really
like
don't even know anything about the Revolutionary Army, like honestly.
Revolutionary Army. We don't know where Aokiji is right now. Like people
Very
speculate that
true.
Aokiji either works for Sword or he's on Blackbeard's crew, or people think that he's on Blackbeard's crew but he's a double agent for the world government.
Kind of like Drake. I like that idea.
Yeah, there's so many things to do like with that. Like even we know the main villain in the story besides the world government is Blackbeard. And how often do we see Blackbeard in this story?
Literally never, unless
Exactly.
the
It's
Marines are around.
it's insane. And he's the main villain in this story besides the world government. And like, this is why I love Oda. Just stuff like that and you still stay into the story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And the foreshadowing back in like Jaya or not Jaya. Was it Jaya? Oh yeah, it was Jaya with the sun. No, not Jaya. When after he got Ace, here they're talking about the darkness versus the sun or something. Some crazy foreshadow where
Yeah, and how the darkness will absorb all light.
mhm.
Hmm.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy fight. Oh, I
Oh
cannot
yeah.
wait. This I feel like One Piece is just starting here. Like it just started. Like it's a whole new chapter
It
one.
really could. It really could have just started like, oh, we're getting to the juicy stuff now.
Like
That's what's nice.
like Oda's like, oh yeah, everything before this was a prologue, and now we're starting One Piece for real now. Kind of like Black Clover. Like until the devils were introduced, like, nope, this is when Black Clover really starts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Things like that. That is 1,044 chapters in, and I feel like I've just picked up One Piece again. Like it's insane.
I know, bro. I can't tell you like every night since I read the unreleased, I just been speculating, just thinking before while I'm going to sleep. I'm like, oh, what could this be? What could this be?
And it's every chapter is just, oh, what's next? What's the next theory? Like it's everything that Oda answers, he leaves another thing unanswered, and that's what keeps you into it. Is so many, like this has to be the manga with the most theories. It has to be.
Oh yeah. Ooh, also too, like I've heard that the smiles are based off of Luffy's fruit, and that's why like they smile when it like it's messed up because they know that Luffy's fruit like makes you laugh and happy and stuff like that, and that's why Luffy's
Ooh.
like smiling so much. And so like the fruits were based off of that, and but they're failed experiments obviously, and I bet Kaido is gonna like notice how happy and smiley Luffy is, and he might be like, "Oh, we've been trying to recreate this power for so long, blah 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 blah," and then might have a backstory of him like when he first starts getting into business and stuff. That'd be lit.
Oh, I really like
Kaido
that.
backstory.
We need a Kaido backstory bad because the only thing that we've really seen is, I guess, like uh, Big Mom talking a little bit about like when she gave him the fruit, and then when he broke King out of the prison. That's
Yeah,
really all we've gotten.
dude, I've heard some people think Kaido's just gonna get like knocked out, but I hope Luffy kills Kaido, just because Kaido wants to die. Like he wants to die, so I feel like it'd only be right for Luffy of all people to give him that.
I feel like I'd
Because if
rather Big Mom die than Kaido because I feel like Kaido has there's so much information that Kaido knows. Like, how does Kaido
yeah,
know
that's
about
true.
Joy Boy and stuff like that? Like, there is things that Kaido knows that we need to know. And as I was saying earlier, I feel like Kaido is gatekeeping Joy Boy to a sense. And once Kaido really figures out, holy shit, Luffy is Joy Boy right now in front of me, I feel like there will be a respect there. Luffy won't respect Kaido whatsoever, but like what's going to happen when they go to Laugh Tale and you have the world government, you have the Blackbeard pirates, and you just like I'm speculating it's going to be like an all-out war at Laugh Tale, and now all of a sudden Luffy has allies like his Grand Fleet, obviously, but then
And the army.
He earned Katakuri's respect, so he has that. Who knows if
Yeah.
Doflamingo is going to get broken out or assassinated? If he earns Kaido's respect here, even though it's Kaido and they don't like each other, but you know, if Kaido wants anybody to get the One Piece, it'll be Joy Boy, who he idolizes. So,
Hmm.
and you have Shanks.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. What if Kaido's been wanting to like die this whole time because that's what it takes to be Joy Boy,
Takes to
and he
be
knew
Joy
that,
Boy. Yeah.
and he's gonna realize Luffy died, but then came back as Joy Boy.
And that adds into
Oh,
another thing of Luffy's powers. Like, is Luffy gonna have to be almost dead every time now to get to this spot? Or can he just, you know, call it a Gear 5th now? Like, there's so much that needs to be explained with this, but I'm gonna give it time because I know Oda is very good about it. And I'm just gonna enjoy these chapters as I go and not get my head canon going too crazy.
yeah, just gotta enjoy him. Oda will, in time, reveal everything we're like wanting to know. So just gotta trust the process.
Well, we are 52 minutes deep into this video. Um, we're definitely going to have to record some more, maybe make more individualized videos and kind of piggyback off of things that we said in this and pick out our favorite points and get some.
Yeah,
Like, I really want to talk about King, too, and the Lunarians, and that's a whole nother animal. And so I think we're going to call it a video here, and we'll get some more out there in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed. Anything you want to say to sign off?
it was a blast having me on here. There's really so much we could just talk for hours about One Piece. So it's just honestly just a great time. I always love to talk about One Piece. So.
Yep. All right.